it's pretty crazy actually how what would you call it? Punitive, condemnatory. It's all very parasocial, you know. Let me see if I can find an image from sometime in the past. Let's see. Sometime in the past month, we want it after the election. Okay. The language that they use in these emails is basically indistinguishable from the language that you would see, like in your spam folder. You know, for years the Democrats preached how unsafe and rigged our elections have been. Now they're saying what a wonderful job that Trump is making 2020 the most secure election ever, which is true except for what the left did, to ensure every single legal ballot is counted, like that type of stuff. You know, I don't think this is actually after the election. I wish I could find one of the disappointment ones. You know what I mean? It's like it's really wild, like how angry they get. You know what I mean? Trump, wait, how does Trump fundraiser email angry? Can I give like an adjective? And they'll fake news media is truly the enemy of the people. They are ignoring the radical left Antifa scum assaulting Trump supporters who are proudly and peacefully showing support for their favorite president. However, this doesn't come as any surprise. Well, this is the tone that's being used. It does look like something in the person's spam folder. These are also being sent out from some of the most powerful political figures in the country. So this is, oh, here we go. Last one. Friend, this is your final notice. So far, you've ignored all our emails asking you to join us in defending the election. You've ignored Team Trump, Eric, Laura, Don, the Vice President. You can tell because they say the Vice President. This is definitely before January 6th. And you've even ignored the President of the United States. Thousands of patriots have stepped up for the very first time in the last 48 hours. Why haven't you? Well, it's easy to make fun of this, but this is actually like deeply abusive to send this to the types of people who watch Fox News, okay? The soup-brained consumers of conservative dogmatism are very susceptible to stuff like this. They look at this, and through their teary eyes, all they see are all the emails they never got from like their granddaughter who they love, but who doesn't talk to them anymore. Ever since they said their granddaughter's like people, it's basically been what Trump's been doing his entire life. So back any day now stuff may just be a way to boost fundraising. But I don't think that's true. We're all familiar with Schrodinger's asshole, right? The person who makes offensive statements, but then determines whether or not they're a joke based on the reaction of the crowd around them. You know what I mean? We all know people like that. Usually back in high school, they'll say something offensive. You know, then they'll, he's like, oh, people like it? Yeah, essentially. It's all a fundraising bid until it succeeds. It's all just a way to play to the crowd until one of two things happen. They're in jail or they succeed. We should be clear. This is a unprecedented assault on the sense that goes through this QAnon fear-mongering. This is a very deliberate effort to institute an autocracy in this country. And everyone thinks it's not going to happen. People in Weimar Republic, they didn't think it was going to happen until eventually it does happen. This is why I am very much in favor of stronger legal restrictions against this type of behavior, okay? This very deliberate effort to undermine democracy from our elected officials, okay? This goes well beyond, like, expression of free speech. This is continuous, persistent, deliberate, and flagrant dishonesty from elected officials for the specific intention of orchestrating a coup for sedition. And we have very light laws on prosecuting along those lines in this country. For the most part, January 6th is just the beginning, folks. Look at what's going on right now, okay? Here's the video of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn again.
Simple Marine, I want to know why.
This is at a QAnon event in Dallas, Texas, by the way.
What happened in Myanmar can't happen here.
Myanmar. Look at this. The Myanmar coup, a military coup overriding a democratic result. There was just a complete attack on the democratic institutions of the country. By the way, the association, I doubt Flynn knew how to pronounce it either. The reason why they're cheering is because they don't like democracy. Listen to this crowd cheer. This is a military coup in America.
No reason. I mean, it should happen for no reason.
Please do not make any mistake about this. The people cheering at these QAnon rallies today are going to be the people smirking along the northern border. Okay, please keep that in mind. This has happened in countries before. There is nothing new about this process. This is not untreaded ground. We've seen it happen elsewhere. All the people cheering there now, these are not just some people. They try to play this off. Oh, they're just economically anxious. No, they're not. They want you dead. They want you dead. They do. They want you dead. They would need the slightest convincing, just the slightest, for another Holocaust. I'm being completely serious when I say that. Maybe you think I'm being hyperbolic. I'm not. If Donald Trump came out and said that transgender people, that their existence is a threat to American family values, it would take them zero budget to just be like, yeah, send the trains up to camps. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm okay with the tax dollars being used to build that camps over the border. Yeah, 100%. Like that. They would need that power. The trans lobby was controlling everything. But then Trump came into power in the military coup, and now he's doing all this. Now, the military isn't going to side with Trump. I don't think he's going to be successful in his effort to, wield the military against our democracy. I don't think our institutions are that weak. That's the thing about democracy, folks. People vote in who they vote in. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is the future of the Republican Party. All right? You get more Republicans in, more Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene, open advocates for fascism, and they push back against democratic laws. The Democrats are too weak to meaningfully fight against them. They grow more and more powerful in the Senate and Congress. Sometimes they cheat a little bit. Democrats don't push back hard enough. Eventually, they got a majority, and then you don't need military coup anymore. At that point, it's too late. We need to step up now. We need to stop pretending that just because Trump is out of office, he's any less dangerous for the movement. He's inspired, at the very least. He's any less dangerous than it was then. This is a festering problem that will not go away unless we're willing to take strong steps to prevent it. And at this point, all the naysayers, they say, you're anti-democratic. You're suggesting that politicians should be locked up for lying in an effort to institute a pro-democracy than arresting people trying to destroy your democracy. Nothing more pro-democracy than that, actually. Democracies have to be self-sustaining. A democracy means absolutely nothing if you allow people who want to destroy that democracy to destroy that democracy. That's how you maintain the democracy. Okay? A lot of people are under this false impression that this battle between Democrats and Republicans is some kind of ideological battle between equal but opposing forces, which isn't true. I'd like to think of it slightly differently, okay? Imagine that Democrats are the only people with valid political opinions, who have, Now, say what you will about orcs. I play one in World of Warcraft Shadowlands. I have a fun time with it, Resto Shaman, great stuff. However, say what you will, if the orcs' political platform was Zug, me going to great country, me light America on fire, I would be perfectly okay with instituting some kind of legal barriers to prevent them from being the orchestrators of that plan. Okay? Is WoW any good right now? Yeah, it is. By the way. Anyway, you all understand what I'm getting at here, right? There are a lot of people who think they're afraid is what they are. They're afraid to take the steps necessary to keep this country livable. But I'll tell you this much, folks, okay? Inaction is also an action. And if you're not willing to raise a hand against the people who are literally trying to institute a fascist autocracy, then you're at least in part responsible for what's going to happen afterwards. And I would rather have on my conscience the arrest of people like Flynn. Oh yeah. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, what a weight on my heart. Then the moral weight of things that I did nothing as the Holocaust slowly rolled into town. Two potential things to feel bad about. I know which direction I'm headed. And by the way, to be perfectly clear, the action that I'm talking about, just so nobody can accuse me of vagueness here, the Democrats need to do everything that they can to push for the abolition of the Electoral College so Republicans will never again win a presidential election. There need to be stronger rules on sedition for people who are lying to openly undermine the democratic institutions that we live in. Filibuster needs to be abolished. Democrats need to be ruthless in the pushing of bills that they engage in to reform the vote and make it easier for people to vote. These are the steps that are necessary, okay? We are very privileged right now to live in a point in history where it is possible to disempower fascism through law. We are very privileged to live at this point in time. We may not always live at this point in time, but right now there are things we can do legally, legislatively, that will make it very, 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 very much harder for the Republicans to win. Okay? And it's our responsibility as left-leaning people to do everything we can to push for these bills, these actions. Okay? How do we make peace with like the regular ass people who believe this stuff? Look, the number of people on the Republican Party who are full-on crazy QAnon are not that many, proportionally. The majority of them are people who have been led along through dishonesty. They've been put in an alternate universe. Fundamentally, principally, inside, they are morally defensible people. But when you live in an alternate reality, you can justify pretty much anything. I mean, if you genuinely believe that, like, the gay agenda is going to destroy America, like, really destroy America, okay, your opposition to the gay agenda, whatever that means, is morally defensible. We need to pull them out of that reality. And the way to do that is not to run around like demonizing every individual voter, okay? Demonize the hell out of the elected Republicans. Individual voters, though, you gotta make their lives better, and their policies do not. You tell a better story. So become good storytellers, okay? Convince them. Why are jobs so hard to find? Care about the people. What about this? What about that? What do Republicans do to answer these questions? They lie. They lie and they tell bad stories. We tell good stories. So tell them. Our stories are too complicated, they're washed. Then tell them better. Okay? What this whole channel's about. Tell the stories better. Because our stories are better. That's the best we can do with the voters, okay?
Thank you for subscribing for 10 months. Shamrock Star, thanks for giving us up. E22350. Yeah, I like that last Halloween movie. Start with either chili juice or beer. Yeah. Put something on, like, get the tinfoil going. Because street fight has always failed. Here, watch this guy eat disgusting steak. This is the worst steakhouse or something in the area. In his steak. I'll put on my tinfoil.
Negative cold. Over the phone. Over the phone. You don't serve an overcast steak at a steakhouse, baby. That's why y'all got a 2.5, and even that's a lot. Some of them got 2.5.
Steak looks alive. It looks like
I hit that big, but
what the F is this Majestic 12 shit? Basically Men in Black. Think Men in Black.
The world actually answered Majestic 12 point blank. Will Trump be president again? And Majestic 12 said very soon. This is really exciting because, I mean, if you've been following my videos, you know that Mike Lindell's been saying this, Lynn Wood's been saying this, General Flynn's been saying this, Trump's been saying this, and people know have been saying the same thing. They've all been.
You need to surround yourself with less crazy people then, because apparently You surround yourself entirely with delusional people who only get their news from places like television.
Saying that great things are happening, this is going to be a great year, to be hopeful, trust that Trump's going to come back. Like,
Firemancer says, just like the rapture will be during our lifetime. It's Schrodinger's doomsday. It is constantly about to be and not about to be doomsday.
But they've been hinting at it, with Linwood saying, like, oh, if you think Trump's going to let people get away with everything, then you don't know Trump, you don't know military. And then Mike Lindell's like, oh, this year we're going to all unite under God.
Standing under a glass ceiling right now. And it's true. Today, men and women don't share the field. But who knows about tomorrow? Because if the world needs to get equal, the bold need to get started. Everyone says this is a huge challenge. Of course it is. But you know what we say? Challenge accepted.
Aldrin voted for Trump? Okay, then his uncomfortability is very strange then.
The picture, steroid Santa Claus kicks and deals. It's a long flight, all going back. And the fall shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the sea. Oh, Simpson just broke this dream's reality wide open.
Okay, so within the context of that episode of The Simpsons, Homer is having a dream, thus the hot dog, taco, pretzel being the announcers. The sky shattering, and it's indicative of the dream logic within this bit. It's supposed to be nonsensical because it's a dream a fictional character is having. Dynamite Jellyfish Podcast 20 Bit says, is it really that hard to believe that Trump is just stupid? Why is it that conspiracy theorists who are for and against Trump think he's a super genius trying to tell us something? I don't know. Bontuck says, Aldrin's reaction when expected crash against reality. Mike Mack says, someone using the idiom of shattering the last ceiling, this guy. And I took that literally. I'm going to skip past the clip because we all forget. We've seen fiction before.
Bell echo.
Oh God, please tell me he's not going to not talk for the rest of this video.
You know what's happening? What's right?
There we go. So it's a little
Black Ops.
It's a gun thing for your Call of Duty gun.
Was released by PlayStation 4 just a couple of years ago. Take a look at this scene. Unbelievable how they give us the truth in plain sight.
They're making fun of you. They're making fun of you. Once Yoshi side in a hammock, and it starts raining, so one goes in his mouth, snoring. Also, this is you.
And a lot of these fanboys with video games and NASA, they don't understand what's happening, what's right in front of their faces. Just take a look in here at the flat Earth model in plain sight. It's funny. Underneath it says, "Yay, science." Take a look.
That's the joke. Congrats. You see the joke. Woo.
Definitely 100%. As you can see, the sun and the moon, flat Earth model. It says underneath here, the text acquired from the black market reserve. Again, yay, science. Just mockery. This isn't
Culper and Uprising. This is art.
no pain over nothing. And so, again, they give us the truth. In these places, just like this one video game that's currently being developed. Not sure what the exact release date is. And it's called Solar Award. And again,
Pop cultural thing because it became a meme to make fun of flat earthers. Flat Earth being mentioned doesn't mean flat Earth is real any more than seeing a unicorn in a
experience the truth of Earth. And of course, the flat Earth model again.
truth of Earth in mockery. Now, I find this very interesting here, where they show the flat Earth. This is a misrepresentation. And, you know,
Team of the Cube becomes the screen boss with 200 bits, and Mike Mack says, "Are we sure they're not the same person?" Now that's the real conspiracy.
Space is nothing but a hoax. All we have is inner space. What I find is the dragon itself. It reminds me of this one scene which I've covered before in a video from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Let's take a listen to the dialogue that is said here.
Of course, in ancient history, it's thought that kind of about the time when men